What's up, you guys? Going on? Welcome to another episode. Excited as usual for moments like this to be able to share with you guys just new information, inspirational things, and things that I like to mix in that I experience. And so it's an outlet for me, and it's an opportunity for you guys or anyone to connect with the message, relate to it, and yeah, feel inspired and get some healing going on. So that's my purpose for all of these videos that I do. So for myself and for you guys too. Okay, so let's see here. We're gonna jump right into it. Yeah. So as usual, I don't really put titles to my messages, but I feel like I'm gonna start doing that just because it would be nice to do that. Let's call it "This Is Your Chance." Okay, so and yeah, and then maybe I might change it at the end. So we're gonna start off with calling it. Right now, I'm gonna start off with calling it "This Is Your Chance," and then by the end of the video, if I change it, then I change it. Okay, so here we go. Isolation in solitude is strength. Desperation in codependency is a path of weakness. This is your chance. Commit to your mission or missions in life. Your mission or missions come first. Okay, so let's start with breaking it down with the first piece. Isolation in solitude is strength. Okay, so I'm going to speak about how it works for me, and then I will speak about it in a general aspect. Okay, so for me, I feel like isolating yourself in solitude, okay, may not be an easy thing, but it's obviously necessary, because when you're in solitude, you are in a space where you are, whether you're in silence, whether you are being selective on what you're listening to and who you're being around as far as negative energies. This solitude is a space for clearing your mind, clearing your emotions of negativity. Okay, and when you isolate yourself, when you put things together where you can be within this solitude without any interruptions with negativity, you're not challenged with these types of emotional toxic experiences, then you are either going to not experience these negative energies, or you're going to experience extreme levels of it not being existent. Meaning, if we're just looking at 0 to 100%, you're only going to experience anywhere between 5, I would say less than 15%, really 5. I would say shoot for 5 or less than 5% when you are trying to isolate yourself to be in solitude. Okay, and so now when it comes to the title, This Is Your Chance, you're taking an opportunity with yourself to get better at whatever it is you're trying to get better with. And we're speaking about missions and goals and things like that. Okay, So finding any type of way to execute these things and execute them well, you got to come up with a system. So for me, I feel like one part to start off with will be just isolating yourself in solitude, okay? And to just figure out what works for you when it comes to how you can figure out ways to just create more peace, to heal yourself, to also perfect your craft, like thinking about, what it is that you're trying to work on, what you want to do. When you're trying to think about, like, maybe you're just trying to think about new things, you're trying to just open up your mind to be more sharp, more imaginative, more just, open up your mind to something new. You want to figure out something new, okay? And that's a part of goals. That's a part of your life mission, okay? So, because it's just your desire and your choices of things that you are trying to put into each page, not even just chapter, okay? Just each page, you're trying to move forward with each page in your life, and so whether it's turning a new chapter or just turning a new page, you are needing that open mind and a mental capacity too, cleaning out things, having that larger mental capacity to be able to come up with ideas and or just work on the ideas that you already have, okay? So now just going back to the part where isolation and solitude is strength. It takes strength to isolate yourself. If you are very codependent, we're going to go to that, okay? If you are, just very family oriented, or you are used to being around people for whatever reason, particular people, your job, or whatever it may be, that could be difficult. Those are still dependencies, okay? So, and you can feel lonely. You can feel, unfulfilled. There is an importance with human connection and the bond that you share with human beings, even when it's not always, great. But there are great moments, even if they're not a lot to, that you would hope for to be more, that does keep us going. That does keep us passionate about the human connection, okay? And so when you are disconnected a lot less, or just, maybe 100%, 99%, then you'll feel that loneliness. You'll feel that lack of emotional bond that really fulfills certain chakras inside of us, that, is going to put us in a very low vibration state of emotion and mind, okay? And so, and that can be very difficult to follow through with what you're needing to isolate yourself for in the first place. That can be difficult, because you also need energy too. You also need that joy, that joyful energy. And so, not to promote caffeine, okay, because that might not be healthy for everyone, but for me, that does help. Maybe there's a food, maybe there's a type of music you like to listen to. There has to be some other way to boost those dopamines and keep you not just distracted, but keep you keep you feeling okay. Keep you sustained enough to get through what you need to get through, until you return to the joys that really works better for you. Okay, so, and that can be not only difficult, which means if you pull it off, there's strength in that, but also if you follow through and conquer that, that's also, you just developed a very strong emotional, mental, even spiritual part of yourself that is never hurtful. Okay, and especially if you really need it, then it's very helpful. Okay, and so you're strong for even going through it, and you're even stronger for coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? So isolation and solitude is strength on both ends. Okay, and now when we go to desperation and codependency, okay, desperation and codependency is a path of weakness. Okay, now I could have been bold enough to say desperation and codependency is weakness, but you know, it's better to just keep the open understanding and the idea of how that can be a path of weakness, that can be something that will have you not following through. Okay, what are we following through with? We're following through with the many things that gives us joy and happiness, gives us purpose, and the things that we just decide we want to do in our life, the accomplishment, the goals, okay, the missions. Okay, we're going to get to that again. And so codependency is already, you know, something that a lot of us know about. That's something that is just, you know, it's a tricky thing when it comes to like, do you really like to be around people? Or do you really need to be glued to certain things that, or certain people that has you less productive with who you are? Okay, and even worse, if you're doing this to other people, they're not even able to be productive. But I'm not going to go down that path. Okay, I can go down that path. I'm not going to do it right now. Okay, so that's even worse. Okay, so, but when you're just talking about yourself, you are not fully unlocking your full potential. And even if it's not at 100%, 80 and 90% is still incredible. You can do great things at that percentage level. But I don't think that working on things, putting most of your energy in other things beside yourself, especially if it has to do with codependency or whatever it is, really, how can you be 80 and 90% great in yourself if you are putting that 80 and 90% in something else? Okay, leaving yourself with 10 or 20%. Okay, so shooting for 100 is what I would like to say, like shooting for 100 for sure. But you know, worst case scenario, 80, 90%, that's great. That's incredible. That's awesome. You're gonna, yeah, you're winning. Okay, so codependency is already something that, like I said, is tricky, you know. And again, if you're just, you know, if someone or something brings you joy and that's what you're putting all your passion in, then I mean, hey, if that's working for you, that's working for you. But if it's not working for you, then this message is for you. Okay, I think that if you want to be the best version of yourself, if you want to unlock all of these great potentials inside of you, follow through with your many purposes in life, many goals, aspirations, whatever you want to call it, then it's going to take time and dedication. And you don't even got to put 100% in there. But I do feel like you got to put at least 80% in there. Okay? You at least put 80% in there. And listen, I feel like when I speak about codependency, usually with people that have that type of emotion and personality, they're probably not really inspired to do anything outside of be codependent. Okay, so that probably is their passion. Okay, so maybe the message with desperation and codependency, maybe the message within that is, if you are around people that are affecting you with that contagious energy, be careful, because that is going to rob you of your time and perfection and what you need to do for yourself. Now, I mentioned codependency when I broke everything down, but now let's break down desperation and codependency. Now, it's already, I just said it plenty of times, it's already crazy enough to deal with codependent people, or maybe yourself being this way. But desperation, it was already crazy to begin with. So we just applied gasoline to the fuel. Now the flames is crazy. Like you are, I think you're doing more than just depriving yourself or depriving someone else. You are, I imagine desperation, that level on codependency, I imagine that as being something that is really putting someone out so extreme, taking away their time, taking away your time, if you're the person or you are receiving it from somebody else. This has to be something that's like, it's beyond just someone taking most of your time. Desperation and codependency is taking all of your time. I can't even. It's crazy, dude. Like, it's very dangerous. If you know anybody like this, talk to them, send them this video. Because, I mean, unless you don't care about your purpose in life, or many purposes, goals, experiences, just your experience, especially if you're young, late teens, late 20s, even late 30s, you wrapping things up, you trying to walk into your 40s, however, listen, you're young at any age, or whatever you're trying to do in life, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to be trying to make up for a lot of lost time if you're not at least getting a lot, handled within your youth. Okay, so, but at any age, it's important. Everybody, can still continue. As long as you can still continue, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, it's still like people are still accomplishing a lot of great things. And you can run into, different roadblocks, many different roadblocks. And so just be careful, be easy out here. Be more than careful. Be deliberate. Be active. Okay, I got to start saying that. Being careful is not enough. Okay, when you're talking about your purpose, many purposes in your life, experiencing, a happy, joyful lifestyle, listen, you got to be active. You got to be deliberate. You got to be dominant. And I'm talking to myself, okay? So, including with you guys too. Desperation and codependency is a path of weakness. It is a path of destruction. And I would even go as far as saying, if you're really not careful, if you're really not urgent about taking this away from yourself, being this way, or someone else that is affecting you with this, if you're not urgent about it, I believe that you're heading down a road of no redemption. Because sometimes, you know how that saying when they say, if you don't use it, you lose it? Yeah, I look at desperation and codependency is literally taking all of your time, whether it's you doing that to yourself or someone else doing that to you. And if you're not using something, okay, you're not using it enough, you are just decaying. You are tarnishing. You are, you're losing your touch. You're losing your talent. You're losing your sharpness, your intelligence with whatever it is that makes you so great in what it is that you want to do with your goals in life. If you're not using it, there are people that can turn it around, but that saying isn't just a saying for anything. That means that saying came into existence because many people were probably just losing shiz. Okay? And so, that's the third thing I would say. Yeah. Be dominant. Change yourself. Change your situation. Get rid of codependency, codependent people, and definitely act urgent, fast, immediate on desperation. Just the word desperation. We know about desperate people, desperate in its own vocabulary. I mean, obviously, there can be a good way to look at being desperate when you are like fighting so hard that like maybe a situation really helps you succeed in something that's a good thing and you were desperate about it. You were diligent. You were you were relentless. That type of desperation has a second meaning to it, right? Okay, so it's the second meanings of desperation can be a really good thing when you're applying it to, great things, okay? But bad things, that's usually the first definition of desperation. And you didn't put that together with codependency. Desperate people, desperation and codependency, that's wild. It's a path of weakness, path of destruction. Okay, so choices. Let's see what we want to do out here, including myself. Okay, now this is your chance. All right. So this is your chance. Commit to your mission or missions in life. Commit to them. Your mission or missions comes first. Commit to them because they do come first and they are important to you. Okay? And whether you believe in God or not, your purpose in life, purposes, decisions, even decisions, just a decision. This year, I want to go to see my family across the country. I really want to get a chance to see, I don't know, a sports basketball game. I want to see LeBron James, okay, before he retires. And it's like, if I were to continue to put that off, which I have, and then he retires and I don't get a chance, even worse, he, you know, how, people are getting ready to retire and they go ahead and announce, their last year, then the tickets go up. And then, if I'm not able to afford those tickets, then I'm really out of luck. And it's like, if you're not putting it's just, like I said, decisions, making choices of things that may not even be this huge mission, this huge goal, this huge, like, purpose in life. I still feel like your lifestyle, okay? Your lifestyle and what makes you happy, this is your life. And you should deserve to make it your own and to please yourself. That's why my self-care videos, check me out, King Renaissance TV. I'm glad I do that now, because now I'm more committed to taking care of things that, like, are just not even great endeavors. They're just like things that make me happy. Okay. And then there are things that I put in there that I've been putting off that I want to do, that are purposeful, like King Renaissance Talents. Check me out. I got music that just dropped. Okay. I'm dropping all my channels. And I'm working on that. I just started making my music Christmas of last year, better late than never, and I'm glad I'm still young, but I could have started earlier, and I meant to, but again, didn't fight hard enough with all the roadblocks in my life. So, and I like to talk about these things now on my challenges, because it can help someone else not go through it. It can help someone get through some things that they're going through that's similar to myself. Or, these videos can be shared to someone that you may feel that could benefit off of this. Someone that's going through something like this. They're not listening to you. Maybe they'll listen to me, You never know, So, but again, just going back to whether it's a choice, decisions that you make to make yourself happy in life, from one week to the next, whatever time out of the year that you just choose to do something for yourself, or your goals, your mission, your purpose, your different destinations or destinies, I mean, so many ways you can name these things, right? They're all yours. We are alive, okay? We didn't choose to be here, but we're here. And why not make the most of it? Why not be grateful and happy with what it is that, you want to do, and finding ways to execute these things, finding ways to follow through, to not procrastinate, okay? And we all need motivation, and we all need each other, so, like, I can be preaching, right, and then not applying it to myself, but when I talk to you guys, I feel like I get better with applying these things to myself, okay? So yeah, your mission comes first, your purpose, what I'm saying, you come first. Oh goodness, I mean, unless you believe in God, because I say God comes first, what I'm saying, but aside of God, you come first. Then however you want to line everything else that comes second, third, and many other numbers to last. You come first. You do, especially when you have so many things you need to accomplish in life. Now, you got kids, you got, I don't know, man, you got work, and you got a career job, they pay you a lot of money. That may come first, you know what I'm saying? But that may be a part of, that's bigger. That's bigger. You have to, that's why it's important before you get into things like that you do a lot of you first, because those are seasons that those are requirements of your kids coming first. Even if you got to tie your kids with yourself, you really can't put yourself above your kids until they're, like, somewhat adults, you know what I'm saying? And then certain career jobs and things like that. And so or, you know, people with health issues and stuff like that, like, Lord forbid, you know, taking care of a family member, whatever it may be. So then the situations like that, but, you know, and even with those things, you are trying to make sure that you are putting yourself at least right up underneath or right there with, you know, whatever you are trying to accomplish with your life. You're still trying to put yourself somewhat first, because you still come first. So see how I'm like still putting that in, because it's that important. It really should be that natural for us. And don't let anybody ever make you feel like you can't come first. And you can be classy and professional with how you come first now. You know what I'm saying? When you are integrated with people, relationships, friendships, you know, great jobs, and you know, like I said, family, kids, whatever. You can be classy and professional and lighthearted on how you are still incorporating other people and things in your, you know, in your life that's still important. You investing yourself in other things and other people. But you still do come first. Okay? You do. And you can be classy, professional. You can be lighthearted and big-hearted with it, you know. But you come first, okay? And you have purposes, you have goals, all types of reasons to enjoy your life and push forward with what works for you, okay? And so, of course, there's compromises, and, you know, like I said, when you're in relationships and jobs, like, yeah, of course, those things are a little bit more complicated. But it doesn't mean you have to put yourself last. Okay, so I just want to throw that in. Anyhow, this is your chance. Okay, you can turn things around. You can transition, make things better for yourself, and stay positive. Check out Meditative Mind. I always listen to a lot of really cool music from Meditative Mind. Sometimes I forget to put in the link, but, you know, I'll try to remember this time. And yeah, so music at night if you want to fall asleep to certain frequencies. Very, very beautiful music to get yourself in a peaceful mindset. Or if you're meditating, you can choose to do that too with Meditative Mind. And like, share, subscribe. Hit me up if you want me to talk about something particular, or maybe if you want a free counseling session, you know, or just someone to talk to, you know, hit me up. Instagram, TikTok, if that's easier for you to contact me. I'm on there, King.Renaissance, King Renaissance. Yeah, so, and check out my other channels if you like to check out my other channels, okay? We put a nice little 30 minutes in. Like, I'll hold you guys for too long, but thanks for always tuning in, being part of my channel. And like I said, hit me up anytime. Hope you guys have a safe day, safe week. Many weeks until I repost again, okay? Or whenever I repost again. So, all right. Till next time, King Renaissance. Talk to you soon.